Hello, happy Friday, and welcome to Business by Design Online. I am your host, Katie Sevenants. Today's guest is someone that I cannot wait to chat with. This is Jacki Cox. Jacki is outstanding in her community up in Denver and really around Colorado. And so we're super excited to have a chance to chat with you this morning.
Oh, thank you so much for having me, Katie. Appreciate it.
I love you're wearing your fall colors. I went on purpose. It's like, for some reason, today feels like fall and it's still in the 80s here in
I
Colorado.
know.
So
Yeah, no, fall's my favorite, so this is perfect for me.
So fall is right. It's fall and spring. I love the flowers. I love the colors. I love that feeling of like, oh my gosh, it's here. But then there's also that moment in fall where you're just like, okay, I love all the warm tones. I love the smell of, I don't drink pumpkin spice, but I love the smell. So anyway.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's funny. So Jacki, tell us a little bit about yourself, your family. What do you do? What makes you tick?
Yes, well, as we're talking about fall here, fall is my absolute favorite. So I love it. I love hiking in Colorado, hiking anywhere really. That's a big piece of how I get fueled is nature and just being around all the beauty. My husband and I live in the foothills, and we have two furry kids. So we are dog people. We don't have children by choice, but we'll forever be four or three-legged kids within our house.
I'm that way too. Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
yeah, exactly. So, and I actually have several family here. My mom is in Colorado Springs. My brother and his wife and family are in Colorado Springs. My dad is Colorado Springs, or excuse me, down in southwest Colorado. I have some nephews in Colorado Springs. So we've got some good surrounding by us. But I also love those that I call family that have been chosen as family too by the friends that I have in my life. I mean, I'm a high extrovert and I get super fueled by others and hopefully along the way I inspire others, but I just love people. I love being around people. And all of this, stuff, I just, like I said, nature is where I go. That's my happy place.
We sound very similar that way
Yeah.
because that's like, but on Saturdays, I mean, that's what I plan all week. I got to get up there and get to the mountains and just get out in nature and enjoy that. But I'm also an extrovert. So how have you coped through all of this so far this year?
It's been interesting. I mean, I used to be I still am. I still am an advocate for Zoom. Having said that, I love being around people. So I've been on the move, out and about. I network a lot. I'm actually leading a group as well right now through 4BR, and I get fueled by people. So for me, listen, I live life to the fullest. I'm not here to be, I just got to be out and about.
No, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. And it kind of re-energizes, don't you think? It's like,
Yeah.
well, some people prefer that. My husband he is happy that he is working from home and will probably do that forever now. So, I'm like, I just got to get out. Once in a while, I got to see my peeps. So
Right.
tell us a little bit about, I know you're heading up this networking group in Denver area, right? And it
Yeah,
is
actually,
for Word. Tell us a little bit about that.
yeah, so I took on the regional director position within 4BR, which
Oh,
is Building Better Business by Referral. So 4B's 1R. It was started by Tammy Urbach, our CEO and founder, 10 years ago, which is hard to believe. And actually, 4BR was one of those groups I actually found first when I first started my business 6.5 years ago. And it was just a great community of being able to feel supported. Also, really that development and personal and professional development piece. So it felt like a natural fit. I had led another women's group, Polka Dot, for the last 5 years. And so I just felt I really love being able to help people and help them feel connected and help them move along and further in their business. And I can do that within 4BR. And so really I'm helping all of Colorado. And we do have our group leaders in place who help with the meetings themselves. We also have territory managers in place helping with each, different counties. And then I'm in place to really help support the territory managers and all the community as a whole grow. So for me, it just felt like a natural fit. I had stayed very connected to Tammy and, I had gone to some of the quarterly networking events on a regular basis. And, you stay connected to those that I kind of
Yeah.
was following her for a while. And
That's
so
awesome.
it's a very good fit for me.
That's great. And it keeps you connected with your,
Yes.
the need to be around people and connecting. And I love that. And you are quite the connector. Tell us about your other businesses as well, because you do a couple different things.
Yeah, so I have my business that I've had around Swirls for the last 6.5 years. And I started it originally just kind of as an idea of I wanted to be, the fun painting and sipping, and really how it evolved over these last years, really going and focusing on the retreat piece of it, feeling that creativity and diving into what we're passionate about. I feel like that's so important. Of course, along the way, I've partnered with your partner, Phoenix, and she's fantastic. And so it's just really being able to be surrounded by those things that light us up, and that creativity, and travel and creativity do that for me. So, I can keep the travel piece alive with the business, the retreat part, and being able to also bring that to life as well. It's, I'm definitely doing 4BR full time, but at the same time, Swirls will always be there. It's my heart. And I know that people have a desire to feel more creative. So that's why I keep it around.
That. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So our topic this month it's only the beginning of October, but our topic is on planning and like looking forward to next year and having kind of a system in place so that you don't just like turn the calendar and go, oh, wait, it's January and I don't really have anything lined up. So we're talking about planning in a lot of different ways, right? But there are some things that you do and I love because I've heard you speak on this before. But do you have some tips you can share about getting ready? Because, none of us want to get caught not being ready for January.
Right.
Who knows what it's going to look like, but still there are things we can do to kind of get ourselves and our business lined up. Do you have some tips you could share with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So first things first, make sure you set some boundaries around your time and your energy, and know where you need to focus that time and energy. Are we an expert in all spaces of our business? No, of course not. So wherever possible, delegate that out, when we can. I know it's hard for a lot of us, myself included sometimes, to delegate, but really being able to set those boundaries in place is so important. I love this time of the year because it definitely feels, I always have this full swoosh of energy all the way through the end of the year. I don't feel that slump like some do, and some kind of, they get focused on the holidays and things like that. And that's perfectly great. But we want to make sure we're setting ourselves up for success as we move into 2021 then as well. Keep that energy high. Keep your momentum that you've built all year round high as well. So setting those boundaries on where you're going to spend that time for these next remaining, 11 weeks or whatever we have. Yep, it's going to get busy with the holidays and family being closer and things like that. Of course, it's going to get busy, but we need to make sure that our businesses have a good focus. So those boundaries are going to be key when we go in and we talk about planning. And boundaries go to making sure you're taking care of the things in your business to set you up for success, making sure that you have a buy-in from your family of, hey, I know I have a couple deadlines coming up, so hey, I'm going to be working some extra hours, but I just want you to know that I need your support on this. So really asking for boundaries or expectations around that. Setting boundaries of where, you honestly do a review. The Q4 is a great time to do a true reflect, sit in that gratitude space. And then also, what have you learned so far? We still have 11 weeks to go, but what have you learned so far? So those boundaries around that will really help you set up for what your 2021 looks like. The next thing I would always suggest is
before we go there, before we go on to the next one, I think that's really key. There's a lot to that because we can get busy going, I have to do this, I have to do this, I have to do this. But getting that buy-in from the people around you is really key so they understand. If they can understand, hey, I need to work some evenings, or Saturday morning, I need to do this for my business. And, if you have a plan and you can help explain that to your family,
Right.
And get that buy-in. Then it's not like, oh my God, you're always on your phone. You're always working. You're always, but if you can look at and help share that vision of where it's going to go, where you're going to spend the time and plan it out, then you can know you're going to take some time off.
Right.
But in order to do that, hey, I'll go to the park with you. I'll go to the pumpkin patch, but I need to go do this.
Yeah.
And, I think that's really key. Taking the time. Don't just like have your checklist. I'm going to do this, but get that buy-in of the whole environment, your family, whoever that is, and the people you work with too, so that they understand what to expect and that, hey, you're putting your plan together. You can play hard and you can work hard.
That's right. That's right. And it is. And you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself in the process too. I mean, meeting some deadlines does not mean you should miss out on sleep and the things that light you up and ultimately, I mean, nourishing yourself and all of those things, right? I mean, you should not be ignoring that. How can you work it in and also feel that you're fueling yourself in the process? So you're setting some boundaries around your own expectations too, of making sure that, those deadlines are coming, but okay, start with the deadline and back it out. What do you do each day in order to really work towards what you are working towards? These goals are, let's finish strong, and it's going to take, if you take, let's say you took all of November and December off. Okay, that's great. If you can do that, that's fantastic. Having said that, if you do that, because holidays are, coming upon us, how long will it take you to gain that momentum back? So if you're planning on, taking the whole month of December off or whatever, that's perfectly great. But making sure for these next 6 weeks, you are then setting yourself up for that. And then when January hits again, you're off and running, even though you took some time off.
Exactly. And if you can plan that time off, plan it in there, prepare ahead of time, prepare for after, so that you can go and enjoy and not feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do all these things while I'm gone too. That's one of the things I'm so passionate about is, especially with a home-based business, everyone's working at home now. It's really easy to forget to close the door or, at night, like be done, because you can always come back in and do something. Or now we can work on our phones. So being able to respect your family's time and then they'll respect your time that you're working. Absolutely. Yes, I'm going to take that vacation time. I'm going to go and do all that together, because you're going to plan ahead so that you know what's going to get done ahead and what will be going after. And scheduling things is like amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
I always encourage anyone I come in contact with to be present in whatever you're doing. If it is that you're working on that deadline, be present in that, focus on that, shut your door, try to keep the distractions. I know there's a lot of extra things going on, the homeschooling and all of that. I get it. I do get that. But also being able to be super present when you are then taking that time off. Be there, be with your family and friends, and truly give them the attention that you asked them for on that buy-in. You asked them for a little bit of time now, that way I can give it back to you later. We'll honor that.
Right. And if they see that you're honoring their time too, even those little chunks, like I'm going to work for an hour, I'm going to play for an hour, honor their time, they'll honor your time. It's a two-way street. And then you're not feeling like you're always checking your phone in front of your kids, your family. Yeah, I think that's really important. I like that, setting those boundaries. That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always encourage people to, try to shift the perspective around, instead of, oh, these are the things I have to do and it feels so overwhelming, and you just stop a little bit and actually focus on, hey, you know what? I actually get to do these things because this is where I've built my business, or this is where I've built my life around. And I get to do these things because it fires me up. And that get to versus the have to, there's a shift there. There's a big shift.
Huge mindset. And I say it all the time. It's something that I learned a while ago that is a daily thing. Whenever I hear someone say that, oh my God, I've got this to do, I'm like, okay, we get to do it. I'm working from home. I'm living my dream. I'm setting my schedule. I get to do these things. So it helps your whole brain, doesn't it?
It does. It does. It feels a little bit more like, hey, that's what's going to make you jump out of bed versus, oh my gosh, here we are. No. Change it. Change that that mindset around it. You're exactly right.
I think that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, what's next?
The next thing is I would encourage you to make sure that you are putting yourself out there. So as we plan for Q1, what are you doing to put yourself out there to make sure? It takes typically about 60 to 90 days to build your pipeline. We're in that time frame to build for January. So how are you putting yourself out there? Now, I get it. We're in unprecedented times. So putting yourself out there physically, maybe you're not comfortable with that. That's okay. I'm not suggesting that you are going against your own beliefs. I'm suggesting put yourself out there. There's all sorts of virtual networking, but there is in-person networking as well happening. And I would encourage you to put yourself out there, not only with networking, but how are you treating your social media differently now that things have shifted for you? Right. People want to see the real you, and whether the real you is still virtual, that's completely okay. The real you still can come up on a screen, talk to people, encourage the videos and all of the things that really let people see who you are. If you're having a rough day, I'm not saying social media should be roses and sunshine every single day, but, right. But the authenticity behind that lets people see, oh, okay, you know what? She's doing what I am inspired by, but she has her own struggles too. Perfectly great. But let people in and let people see how you interact in situations and how you try new things.
You know, that's so true. I really believe that, because a lot of people feel they have to, oh, I'm having a really crappy day.
Yeah.
Or something didn't happen or whatever, and they hold that in. Even with my daughter in college, and we talked about this, she was, feeling homesick already. I'm like, you're not alone. And the best thing you can do is to let these other people in on how you're feeling and talk to people, because the more you can create that sense of community where people feel the same as you, or they just want to understand, because we can come off, especially with social media now, you only see the front side, right? The front, out on the front lawn. You do not see the mess in the house or in the backyard.
That's right.
Open the door. Let people in a little bit to who you are and what you're doing, and so that you can be visible. Depending on the type of business you have, it can make a huge difference in creating your community that relates to you, and that the fastest way for them to know, like, and trust you is, let them in that front door. Let them see who you really are, and even the struggles, all of that. We're all dealing with things differently. And so I think we're, as the hashtag says, together, stronger together, better together. We're in this together. Yeah. Share some of that, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let people, let people in. I mean, and if you are feeling overwhelmed by your calendar or things like that, okay, hey, you know what? This is where I'm hanging out, whether it's Zoom or in person. This is where I'm hanging out. I'd love for you to come. And that way they get a chance to see you in action, type of thing too, and also being able to see how you interact with others in the process. And that helps to continue to build that know, like, and trust too. We're all working on building our businesses, and the key piece is that relationship. And so people want to see you. They want to see you.
I love that. That's good. It might be a little different than it was last year, but hey, it's okay. We can adapt.
That's right. That's right.
Figure it out. So yeah.
Exactly. So
I love that. That's really good. All right. What other tip do you have for us today on getting ourselves ready?
Ready? I would encourage every single person, as we're working towards finishing quarter 4 here in 2020. Everybody has been kind of saying it's been a weird year, and I would encourage you to put all that aside and do something creative every single day. How can you pull yourself back out of feeling this heaviness of this year? You do something creative, do something fun, tap into the emotional side of your brain, which is the right side of our brains. And as you work towards planning, you can do things like a vision board or do something, journaling every day, gratitude journaling, or how did your day go type of thing, or what are you planning towards? Journaling in the future sense. That's very creative, because you journal as if it's already happened. versus what happened quite literally. You journal and you say, I've accomplished this by this, it was by this date. We're talking about now it's December 31st, 2020, and look what I've accomplished. You can do that now. You can do that right now. And that way it helps you solidify those goals of, okay, I have 11 weeks here. I can do this. I can finish this out. So journaling in a creative way will help you with that. Photography, doodling, anything that will help you tap into that creative side of your brain, that's where the emotional intelligence comes from. That's where new ideas come from. That's where that sense of feeling focused towards the analytical, which is the left side of the brain, right? So we don't want to be caught in this, oh my gosh, the constant grind and science and data and all of the stuff that's being thrown at us. Okay, well, what are you doing to engage the right side of your brain? For me, again, it's being in nature, it's photography. I always joke with people that I'll take easily 1,000 pictures when I travel anywhere. And it's because I'm trying photography different ways. Am I a professional photographer? No, absolutely not. But I love it, and it just lets me be quiet in my head. That's what we need. We need some of this quiet time in order to then plan for the future. I feel like if we don't shut down sometimes the scientific, analytical left side of our brains, we're never going to feel really, truly connected to our passion. So
that is so good. I forget about that. And I'm the kind of person who I go. I go really hard. My hiking is my downtime, but there are other things we could be doing. Like you said, the journaling, I love that. And I even have a journal because I was like, I'm going to start doing this. I'm really going to do this every day. Yeah, I'm still not good at that. But cooking, right? My husband takes cooking, and that's his time to just kind of get creative. He looks up recipes, and he loves to get a feedback. So sometimes it's not the feedback he wanted, but that's something for him to get really creative. And he is definitely the analytical side. That's his business. So I think it's important for all of us. We had a guest on that talked about stitching, like thread.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So there are so many ways that I think what's important is to just figure out what would be a fun, creative thing for you to do, and make sure you schedule that in to your time.
Of course.
Because you forget about that. It's like go. And then instead of just slumping on the couch and watching TV, get creative and really let that happen. That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, there's so much to be said of the brain dumps that you do at the end of the day, or your brain does need to rest. It's just, that is science in itself. But ultimately, engaging and firing on those cylinders, that is the creative, and that is that, oh my gosh, this new idea came, and then with that new idea came this new idea, and with that new idea then comes a plan. Then as you start, you have enough ideas to work around, and all of a sudden you have a plan in place too, and it's like, whoa. I always encourage people, just go sit by a stream, or go sit by where there's enough other soft white noise that feels really just peaceful, and then you'll see the ideas flowing. It's
not
really,
the hum of your computer.
Not the hum of your computer, and not these blue screens, and and just really being with who you are at the core. I think it's so important. And trying to really, bring that into focus then as you're continuing to plan for 2021 here, and really let it sit with you and wonder, write down the things that are coming to your brain. Will you use all the ideas? No, you probably won't, but you'll use some, and then those other ideas can kind of be there and be around.
Yeah.
So
that's so good. I love that. Okay. And like, before you go, you are the queen of vision boards. Okay. And I see one behind you.
Yeah.
I love doing vision boards. And it's so funny because that's something that I've done for a very long time, but so many people wait until January to do it.
No.
And I really feel like this is the time, start gathering, thinking about what you want, right? Do you have any tips? I know this is a little different topic, but you've been teaching workshops on doing
Huh?
vision boards. Do you have a couple little guidelines or things you can maybe throw out there to help people to start to get ready and what they might want to consider when they're doing their vision board?
Yes, absolutely. The way I encourage vision boards is keep your why at your heart and in the center. So if you can look closely right in the center there, right there, that's a picture. It's a family picture of my husband and I and our two dogs. He and I together in our adventures is my why behind everything I'm working towards. We love to travel. We love to be adventurous. If you can keep your why at the heart and soul of why you're doing your vision board, ultimately it becomes even that much stronger. Because I'm a big one for quotes and things like that, and quotes during the year that I see I will save. Those are some good tips as well. So quotes and those things are really great. Pictures are all really great. That's all what makes a vision board. But you need to have that foundation behind it. And if you don't, they're just things. They're just kind of things floating out there. Like, oh, I want this car or whatever. Okay, but why do you want that car?
Right.
Why do you feel that's important to you, that you've earned that, right? If that's something that you're working towards and you've earned it, why is it important to you? Why that one? Or why is that trip important to you? Or this revenue number in your business, why is that number important? So if you can continue to answer that question of why, and sometimes it's not easy,
Right.
but if you can continue to answer that question of why this is important and why it's going on your vision board and why you're working towards it, then it means a lot more. So I would encourage you as further tips. So there's your foundation of the vision board itself. As you continue working towards it, set your goals that are a stretch and that I got to push myself to work towards this. But at the same time, don't put it so far out there that by June you feel frustrated with. So I would encourage you to stretch yourself, push yourself beyond your limits. And then also, where do you fit your categories? So the categories that, are often at the top of our minds are business, family, any sort of rewards, trips, cars, anything like that. What's your financial situation? Where do you want it to look like? And health and wellness, really keeping those, creativity, and that's a piece of it too. I always try to encourage people to at least somewhere include those categories. Of course you can include other categories, but that was about 5. So I think, keeping it simple enough where it's like, I'm going to push myself. I know if I do these steps, I can reach it. Even though it's a stretch, I know I have it in me. So there's that foundation again of your why. So that your why should push you.
And right in the center. I love it. That's where you want to, if you can get down to that why, then there's meaning behind everything else.
Yes.
I used to tell people, instead of just putting, for example, the car picture, put your face in the car and, make it more you. But when you know why you're doing what you're doing, why are you doing your own business? Why did you decide to do your own business? So why, really being clear, that should be the focus of every day going forward.
Yes. Yeah. Bringing it super clear. Last year when we were coming up into a totally new decade, which was awesome. And last year when I was helping everyone work on their vision board, I encouraged them I had a worksheet for them of, okay, where will you be in 10 years? Because we're entering a new decade.
Yeah.
What will your age be? What will your spouse's age be? What will your children's age be? What will your parents' age be? And do you feel like they will still be around with you? So it really hit home with a lot of people. And so in these 10 years, what do you want to achieve? So when you put it into perspective and you add 10 years to your own decade currently, it's like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
It is very
important. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, being able to see your future self is important too as you're working on your vision board.
Oh my gosh, Jacki, such awesome tips. You are a superstar, and I am so glad that you had some time for us this morning, because I really think what you said, this is so good, and this is the time to start putting that into place so that we can be already on target to start January running.
Yes.
right? So I think that's awesome.
Absolutely.
And still taking time for ourselves and our families.
Always.
So good. Thank you so much. If
Yes.
people want to continue to connect with you and learn more about what you're doing, your networking group, your trips, things like that, what would be the best way for them to connect with you?
I think it's best if they connect with me through email. Email is one of those things. I don't love it, but I definitely respond always to it. So it's one of those things. And text is, I like text too, but email is probably the best.
Okay. And then do you have, I'll get that from you and then I'll just put this on so our community can connect with you.
Awesome.
Your business, you have your 4BR, right?
Yeah.
4BR
Yep.
networking. And then your other business is Swirls.
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much for taking time today. I really appreciate it. And I hope
Thank
I
you.
see you very soon.
Yeah, sounds good, Katie. Thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate it. And
All right.
definitely look forward to seeing you.
Good. All right. Bye.
Bye. Have a good day.
Thank you. Well,
Yeah.
okay, this is so I know where to cut. Okay. I'm so sorry. And then I'm looking at this. I'm like, I used the wrong light. This is like the brightest light ever. I was trying to tone it. I'm like, oh my God, this is not. Anyway, this is what happens when you get your house. We're remodeling because we're bringing my mom-in-law home who has Alzheimer's because we can't help her. We can't be there. You can't go in and see them. You can sit on the porch for 10 minutes and
Yeah.
all right, winter coming. So anyway, we moved my office out of my office. We're redoing a bathroom so that it's a walk-in. And so our life is crazy. And today was the day I wasn't doing videos for 2 days and they didn't come. And today everybody came.
Oh.
So anyway, I apologize. I am not sure what happened. I'm going to continue to try and figure that out because I don't want it to happen for anyone else. And I'll let you know what I hear from Be Live because something happened.
Yeah, sounds good. Like I said, I've been on there before, but I mean, my laptop, in perfect honesty, is more than 6 years old, so it easily could have been mine, but I haven't had any trouble.
That might be because, who was it? Elaine Terso. We're going to interview her again next week because she couldn't get hers to work. So we're trying to think maybe that's what it was, but you guys are my only two people so I don't know.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And then, I mean, doing it on the phone would have been fine, but it was like, I know, at a certain amount of time, I mean, I would have had to set it up on something, but it was like, because my phone ends up getting hot too. So I don't know, maybe just all my equipment is too old.
Oh my gosh, I know. And that's live. That's what happens live. But we got this. I will record and edit and put it up there and I'll get it on YouTube for you as well. And I will tell you as soon as it's done. So if you choose to use it or, it's there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I certainly appreciate it. And certainly I'll continue to share what you guys are doing too. I got a chance to see Phoenix and Joy recently, so now it's your turn. I need to see you.
Good.
But I got to see both of them recently, and they're just super excited about what you guys are doing. So I think it's really great. You guys are rocking and rolling.
We're hoping to do a big launch, grand opening, whatever. Not that there's a place, but some kind of a celebration in January because it'll be at 1 year.
Oh yeah.
And so we're hoping to get that done. So we'll let you know.
Yeah.
We'll post it. Yeah,
definitely. Well, there is a new place. One of my nephews is helping to manage it. It's called Cody. So it's COATI. That might be a place come January. I know they weren't interested in groups right now because I asked, but that might be a place that would be good for an event like that. I mean, it seems like a really cool concept. There's all sorts of options. It's almost like these chefs are in training, but they also get to showcase what they're working on. And there's several different types of chefs. I mean, they have pastry chefs and so they're all kind of in this growth space and learning, and they get to showcase it in the process.
Where is this?
Colorado Springs, but I don't know what part of town.
Research. Yeah, that sounds great because we're toying with the idea of like being outdoors and have like a tent and, you know, something like
Right.
that, or, you know, because no one knows really
Right.
what it's going to
Right.
be. So yeah, we'll see. But thank you for that. I'll have to put that on
Yeah.
my radar.
Yeah, well, and then also just to let you know too, our 4BR group is meeting at View House. So View House might be another option for you because they are keeping their outside tent. Their patio area is amazing.
Really?
Um, they are keeping their outside tent. It's going to be a permanent tent for them. So they'll have heaters in there. The flats will come down. So
Nice.
that might be, maybe they would let you kind of either rent it or just use the
Right.
tent, you know, for your whole event.
No, that's a good idea. See? Okay, we're planning now for January.
Right? Right, exactly.
My gosh. All right. Well, I'm going to run. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I
thanks,
really
Katie.
appreciate your patience, and I'm glad you didn't have anything scheduled like right away. So,
Yeah. Yeah, no, no worries. I'm sorry that it didn't work on my end, so
no,
I'll
that's
have to look
good.
into it.
Okay. Take care.
All right, have a good one. Bye, Katie.
Bye.